Donc lorsque je flingue, c'est toute ma putain de nation qui flingue avec moi. Tu vois ce que je veux dire?
Welcome back, everyone. Udo, 3 rounds. Coach Terry, Jab University. How you been, man? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. Been pretty good. Busy, but pretty good.
Okay. Hey, it's always busy, you know. You doing the collegiate stuff. We got the registration closes tomorrow, I think, for the tournament in Albuquerque. So you guys got to be ready for that. We're probably going to be breaking that down, not next week, but the following week. So looking to see, okay, who's competing, who's coming back, who's already at the pro scene, like what's happening. It's a little bit of shakeup after the trial.
A lot of pro announcements. It was crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of big one I saw.
Johnny, yeah.
I mean, we had Johnny Rivera, but I saw Richard Fernandez, who I haven't seen compete in a while. I'm like, okay, Bombita is about to do his thing. So, but today we're going all the way to California. It seems like we've been in California for a while, and next week we're gonna go back there again. We're going to Spring Valley,
San Diego.
Yeah. So, Bomber Squad, you guys seen the logo? You guys see the accolades? You got boxers that definitely know what they're doing out there. Coaches are on point. We're gonna talk to maybe not their youngest boxer. We'll clarify that, but one of the young boxers coming out of there. We tend to see them a lot, and for good reason, because they're doing their thing. Let's bring them in. Let's see who they are, because we got more than one guest today. Hey, what are you guys doing?
Hey, what's up?
Look at that. Hey, you guys switched on me, right? You guys.
Yeah, I was like,
It's all good. Hey, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to us here for a little bit. This 3 rounds, the only podcast solely dedicated to amateur boxing. So we see what you guys are doing. You guys are doing big things out there. We're gonna talk to the champ right in the center that we've been focused on. Had a good year last year, so we'll get into that. And kind of see what's expected, in 2024. But go ahead and just one at a time. Name, city, and state. The name of the gym. Just go ahead and introduce you guys yourself.
All right, first.
Yeah, I'll go first. Hayden Hoopii, training at Bomber Squad Boxing Academy from Spring Valley, California. 6 times national champion, ranked number 1 in the nation. All that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Coach Berlin, head coach, co-owner of Bomber Squad Boxing Academy. A few of my boxers, Julius Ballo, Johnny Mansour. I got RJ, Richard Fernandez now. We out here in San Diego, El Cajon specifically. Just out here working.
Coach P, Hayden Hoopii. Hayden's father.
Okay, there we go. Straight to the point right there. So, first question that I like to ask every guest, and to Hayden is kind of our focus today, but we'll talk to you guys for sure. But how do you get involved? How do you get involved with boxing?
I think seeing my dad, I saw him boxing. I saw my brother boxing. It got me real interested in it, and I just wanted to try it out. Because when we first started, we were at apartments. Me and my brother, we would play spar. We would put the couches up, put gloves on, and play spar, and that got me into it.
Hey, I'm just so glad y'all pronounced y'all's last name. The people that call
That's real. Yeah.
We tried to struggle through it too.
Yeah. We're originally from Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
One of them Hawaiian names, yeah.
I was like, man, it seems so simple, but it's hard to pronounce. But I'm glad you guys said it for us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So, Hayden, you've been around for a while. You got 6 of them under your belt. Which is your favorite tournament to go to?
Oh, I definitely say the Junior Olympics, just because I like how they do the finals. I like how they run it for the younger kids, how we get to walk out. A lot of it's for the younger kids, so I really like that.
Yeah, I think you guys are the show there in the Silver Glove.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Silver Glove, love it.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And Coach Berlin, for you, you mentioned a few boxers who've definitely made their name in the amateur game, and so you know what it takes to get to the top. So when Hayden came across, when Coach P came out here, what was the one thing that you were looking at to say, okay, we'll teach you the skills, we'll get the drills going so you can perfect the craft. But what was it about him that said, okay, you know what, I can work with you?
Yeah, definitely. Outside of the family support system, his dad run a tight shift. It's something that us coaches helps us. We only see him for a few hours, but outside of the gym, what is his leeway? His dad runs a tight ship, like I said. But one thing is, man, this kid will win and he still look mad. The tenacity he had, he was always just grinding, and he wasn't just trying to do exactly what we want. He wanted to go above and beyond. And I really like that from him, and he's shown it. He's grown into what his dad has set precedents for him. And from get-go, this kid has been straightforward. It reminds me of my successful boxers that I have. Like, at a young age, they didn't play around, man. They came to work, and they stuck to the script. And he's done that since day one.
All right, Coach P, heard you won a tight ship, but like, is it and you boxed yourself, but is it like all boxing all the time? Because we've talked to some people, and Salim Ellis Bey comes to mind when we say this. It's all boxing all the time with him, or is there other things you're letting your kids do?
It's all boxing.
I'm not even gonna hide it. That's what it is.
To be completely honest, I used to box in the amateurs growing up. I never played in any team sports, so I don't really know much about those sports. So that's what I have to offer to my kids. So I set that environment up, and they kind of just ran with it, So yeah, it's mostly boxing, amateurs and the pros. Yeah, just keeping it real.
Hey, that's what it is. But you can tell when a boxer's enjoying and wants to perfect the craft, right? You can tell. I see Hayden in there. He's trying to win. Like it's not just taking or being in the gym or doing a sport. You kind of really have to own it. You have to make it your own, and it seems like he's definitely taking on that. So, Hayden, how many bouts do you have so far?
44.
Okay, good amount. Intermediate, I mean, by the time we see you, youth, elite, you're gonna probably be 3 digits as far as bouts are concerned. But out of those 40 plus bouts so far, do you have a memorable bout or big win, or maybe one that you learned a lot from?
I think the big win was against Dylan Capetillo. I think especially because we came back, we took like a year off from boxing. I think that was a big win. Put our name up. I really like the way we won that.
Okay, walk us through that a little bit. Dylan obviously has a pretty famous dad coach as well. Does a lot of stuff with the pros and kind of has that kind of pro kind of style to him as well. And getting that win over him is a big deal. So just walk us through that bout a little bit, going into it, knowing that you're going to compete, and how did that change, game plan and everything going up against a top quality opponent like that?
I think we just did a lot of studying with my dad, a lot of studying with my coaches, giving us feedback, what to do, what to look for, bad habits he has, and how to just pick them apart.
All right, so this is for both coaches. You guys have a lot of success, especially through the amateurs. Arguably, the best, if not one of the best 125s in the country, in Balo and stuff like that. So when these kids come into the gym and you're looking at them and you're looking at what they can do, their attitude, their athletic ability, like what with those top prospects that you have stood out the most? What makes this kid's going to be that good when you look at him?
Yeah, for me, the common denominator is intelligence, and a good temperament. And then on top of that, the work rate and how they accept information, and then they put forward, they don't slack. They take it serious early on, and it doesn't change. It just gets better. Pressure bursts pipes, but also makes diamonds. But yeah, for me, it's really intelligence, man.
For
Coach
me,
P,
it's
what you looking at? Like, 'cause they're your kids. It's probably a little different from you. Like, they're
yeah.
probably like, oh man, this dad.
Yeah, I mean, as a dad, when I look at my kids, I see that they do have certain talents, and I see there are things they need to work on. So I try to expand on those. But when I look at another fighter that is, fresh off the streets or coming straight to the gym, and I see like a new kid in Bomber Squad, I'm looking at, all right, what stands out to me is like, I know this kid has natural ability, right, athletically, and we call it a gift, but some kids just got it. Some just it takes a while to build that, and some kids got it from like day one. They have an ability to like move a certain way, right? And then I look for longevity, like their discipline, how long they're gonna be in this gym, and how committed they are, like their mannerisms in the gym. Like are they goofing off, talking story on the side, or they're like, I'm about this, I'm wrapping my hands, all right, boom, I'm going into my dynamic warm-ups, I'm going straight into shadow boxing, all right, coach, we what we doing next? We sparring, check, I'm getting ready, I'm lining up all my gear. Like the focus and discipline is big for me. So, and that's I'm in the military, so maybe that's something that kind of instilled in me, but I kind of press that onto my boys as well, because discipline is going to take you far.
Yep.
Oh, 100%. Especially a sport this demanding, a sport that really, you can't really hide behind teammates or anybody else. You slacking, it's gonna show up. It's gonna show up. Sparring and competition time, and then afterwards, you got nobody else but the point of yourself. You know what I mean? And that accountability keeps kids sharp and focused. Hayden, when you first started, I'm sure probably one of your early goals was, get a medal, maybe get a belt, get a win over or your opponent. But now you got 6 national titles. You've been there at the podium at the end of the tournament, right? Like, how are your goals changing now? Like, what do you want to accomplish in the next, couple of years in the amateur circuit? Like, how has your focus been changing, and how have your, goals kind of followed that as well?
I think from like when I first started, I didn't really look at it like as national tournaments. I really just looked at it as like, I'm just having fun right now. This is what I want to do. Now I still am having fun, but now I take it more seriously. Especially now that I'm going to be a junior at nationals. I really want that belt, and the youth years and elite years, and possibly the Olympics.
Okay. This is an interesting one because it's a sport that it's not a seasonal sport. Like this is, you got a tournament in Silver Gloves in January. Guess what? You still got one in December. We're going all year round. How, do you, I guess, not burn out with something that this is one of those sports you can't do it till you get it right. You do it till you can't possibly get it wrong.
I think we plan our tournaments. We base it off, okay, how am I feeling? How did I do at my last tournament? What do I want to do? And like, what can we really gain out of this tournament?
Yeah. And you're winning them, so it works.
Yeah. The discipline just kind of comes off, with your answers. You know a goal, you got a task. It's like you guys already, have a goal in mind, and are just kind of making decisions accordingly to make sure that you guys get to that point, which is great because we said it, that focus, the discipline is what really starts shaping and really getting these diamonds nice and ready to shine. And but one of the things that did kind of stood out in just starting this conversation off with you guys is you guys took a year off, right? Which we've seen some teams do. For whatever reason. I guess first question would be, what was the reason for that? And then coming back into it, sometimes it's a little easier to say, you know what, maybe I'm going to try something else, or how did you kind of take that year off, but then kind of find yourself back into the grind that is amateur boxing?
I think coming back from that year off, I still like watching boxing. I still wanted to do it. The reason we took that break is because our little sister was born, and my dad went on deployment. So there was just a lot of stuff that had to be done. But when we planned for Detroit, I think I had a lot of motivation for that tournament, especially getting back into it. And I had that motivation and discipline to want to go to that tournament.
All right. Coaches, when a kid walks in the gym, we've heard a million different things. Like Oxen Hill said, they sparring day one. Like, what is the first thing you're trying to teach a kid when he walks in the doors?
Fresh off the street.
Yeah.
I mean, if it comes to boxing strictly, it's footwork, and just understanding the nuance behind boxing. Like I try to get into the mind first, and just basics, see where they are. Balance points and the science behind why we do stuff, just for them to understand it. They understand it like we understand it, then they can implement it like we want them to implement it.
I'm a second what a coach was saying. I think, and for me is balance, and footwork. Right, you got to be able to fight with your feet. That's key. You can't punch and move if you don't know how to move on your feet. So you gotta know how to move forward, backwards, lateral, in a circle, pivots, all that stuff, and that's repetition. So that's the first thing, instilling those disciplines of footwork.
Okay.
And then talking about footwork and just the way that just learning the craft. Walk us through a typical kind of training day for you, Hayden. We see a couple of the notes in the back. So you talked about discipline. You talk about on course like that. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So just walk us through. Because you're balancing schoolwork as well. Like there's a lot of things happening. At your age level. It's not just we love to be just boxing all the time, but you got other things to balance. How do you balance that? How do you get your workout in to make sure that you're ready? Time to compete.
I think when I'm at a camp, it's a lot easier, just because there's not as much stress for the next tournament. But balancing the schoolwork, I don't think it's as hard, especially because I'm in middle school. But I know once I get in high school, it'll be a lot harder. Like a typical day out of camp would look Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We work on sparring, boxing specific things, shadow boxing, mitt work, bag work, all that. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday is more strength and conditioning, running, plyometrics, things like that.
Okay, so this for all three of y'all. What is the San Diego boxing scene like? That was where I had my first fight way back in 1992. Way back in the day. Yeah, I'm old. Guys, so what is the San Diego boxing scene like nowadays? Is it active or is it all, and we just got to get to these tournaments to get work?
No, it's busy. Everybody got a good relationship, man. Everybody work with everybody. Like a little triangle trifecta. We got San Diego, we got LA, we got Vegas, we got Mexico. Everybody mess with everybody. Everybody call. In my heyday, it was a little political. You couldn't just show up in other places. But here, like everybody know each other. I'm a head coach here. I came through San Diego boxing, so I still have good relationships. But literally, I'm honest. Everybody works with everybody. They know where to go. They know where to come. They know the weights, and we help each other out, man.
That's a good thing. You don't hear that often. When I was a kid, I'm pretty sure it was political too.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Coach Berlin. Very, very, very active. And then, of course, once certain athletes start rising up and then get their first experiences at the national tournament, that's where it gets, I guess, less active at the LBC level for those athletes. And then, I mean, from my perspective too, it's like the LBC level, and I want to just say that across the board, is like a breeding ground for the future champions, right? So at a certain point, it's like we got to start travel sparring, and that's key, especially being competitive at the national level. I'm sure you guys are tracking that. That definitely plays dividends, because you can't always get good work in your LBC. You got to diversify.
All my cars got a lot of miles on it, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the best work is when you fly somewhere to spar.
Yeah.
You're not stressed out about waking up early, have a good weekend. Everybody spar, they have fun, they eat good, everybody happy, and that's the best.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Thing to do, is to fly and get good quality sparring.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hey, road warriors. But if you can fly, do that instead. Because
We
man,
have a couple times. We can't drive to East Coast. We gotta fly there.
no, most definitely. Especially last year, I definitely caught several bouts of Hayden doing his thing out there. And for somebody that hasn't seen you, Hayden, what kind of boxer are you? Describe your boxing style a little bit. What are you trying to do when you get in the ring?
I think like when we first started, we had a very aggressive style, and then we had that first loss to Micah Rankin Higgins. He was a good boxer, so that made me make the adjustments, made the necessary adjustments, and we switched to better, cleaner boxing, and that's really what we work on now. But we still work on that pressure style. We just don't use it as much, but if we have to, we will.
Hey, what you prefer, man?
I prefer nice, clean boxing.
Really? Because your face says you want other ones.
Are you sure about that?
Like, Coach, you wasn't lying. He's
It's like that.
He was smoke. He want all the smoke. Like, calm down.
Yeah, he just looked mad. I was like, man, hold on, stop me out, Debo. I ain't did nothing to you, man.
Hey, man, that intensity. I'm sure that in the middle of the ring. I don't want to be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's frightening staring at him from across the other side of the ring. Like, oh man, what's wrong?
Wow, man.
Hey, so Hayden, what's your favorite part about boxing, man? What does it for you? What makes this that thing?
Oh, the fighting for sure. Fighting and winning. That's the best feeling for me.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah. Hey, let's go the opposite. What's the one thing you just can't you hate doing? You got to do it, right? But you just prefer not to if you can avoid it.
Oh, I hate waking up and running. I hate that.
Hey man, hey, you and me both, brother. Yeah. I always hated running, so I chose to get fat.
I don't know who needs to direct that to. I'm trying to figure that out.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh man. So with say this is not a school sport, right? Like you don't get a Letterman's jacket for this. You know what I mean? You get some trophies and some belts, but like the school don't get to see you do it. Like does your school know you're a boxer? And then for two, like how do they treat you? Are they supportive of it? Like how do they give you time to do your work when you're out of town?
Yeah, they do. They're understanding of it. They especially my teachers, because they have kids that do sports outside of school, and they understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, are they rolling out the red carpet when you bring back the titles? Because you've done that 6 times.
No, not really. No.
Nobody know you box, man.
They do, but it's not like a big deal for them.
Oh man, they need to put you in the newspaper, put your poster.
man, that's for real, man. Hey, I put any boxer athlete against any athlete for high school, man. Come on, it's wild. It is what it is,
but argue about that.
Hey,
there's no arguing that. It is
the rankings out there. Hey, Sports Illustrated, number 1 boxing is the most difficult sport, and it just seeing kids, as young as Hayden here, even younger, really putting in that work, really trying to perfect this craft. They get a little touch of winning. That becomes addicting. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll keep you in the gym for a couple months to get that next one. And it's just having those kids kind of develop in the gym really kind of probably keeps you guys around, right? Because you guys got to see some wonderful work, in the future for sure. So, Coach P, real quick, one of the things that I usually when we have boxers who their dad is the coach, they usually just kind of they just coach their kids. You know what I mean? And it seems like you kind of branched off a little bit about off that. You see other boxers, you see Bomber Spray, you see other boxers that kind of developing and so on and so forth. Was that you boxed it, like? Have you always kind of been a coach? You just happen to have sons that box or?
Yeah, So I used to box a little bit in the amateurs back in Hawaii before I joined the military, and I discontinued. But I always trained, but competitively that stopped. And then I naturally just started teaching my kids. Hayden mentioned I remember that like clear as day, like them two going at it, him and his older brother, and then I would hold mitts for them, just very basic combos. And knowing what I know now as a coach today, I'm like, oh man, I wish I had structure because I didn't know anything. You can be an athlete and you definitely need to learn how to be a coach. You got to almost reteach yourself because you got to learn how to articulate and teach certain fundamentals to other athletes, right? So that's a hard thing. Um, After I started teaching my kids, I got interested in being a coach because I just wanted to be there for them. And one of the biggest challenges for me was putting on the hats. You know what I mean? Like, Dad, all right, coach, time to corner, and then separating my emotions from my ability to articulate what I want them to do. Right? That was really hard. And then I learned from Coach Berlin. He's a mentor to me. Coach Robert, Coach Tez. They're really good friends and mentors for me. And I keep an open mind, so I listen to anything any other coach has. I watch other coaches and their mannerisms in the corner to develop myself. That's my way of like growing myself as a father and a coach. Because as they get older, it's less like pounding on them. It's like, all right, how do we correct and adjust to something that's not working for us? And I'm still learning that. So that's where I'm at today with it. Yeah. Definitely separating the dad and the coach part is the challenge because of the emotions and the love that I got from my kid. I feel like I'm in there, but I'm not in there. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm still learning, and I'm a very open-minded person just because of the seat that I'm in. I don't know everything. I'm a pretty young dude as a coach in this sport, so I just all ears.
All right, Coach Berlin. So you've got some of the who's who from the West Coast kids, national level kids, boxing wise. When they approach you, or when you notice that they're serious and they're in the sport for the long haul, is the professional conversation something you have with these kids, or is it the Olympic kind of route you talk them to, and then if the pros are the next step, is that where you push them, or is it kind of just play it by ear?
Yeah, most of the time I play it by ear. I leave it open. And honestly, it really depends on the style and the temperament of the fighter. Some fighters, they don't want to play the game. They don't want to play the number game. It's very counterintuitive for them. In their mind, they're like, if I throw more punches, I might get hit more, and they want to sit down. They want to hurt people. They want to break them down. I think that amateur is essential to test things out, so as far as the duration of them being there, it's really up to them, and to where I can see, okay, this is where your strong point, this is where your strong point, and we just try to fill in the voids as much as possible. And some kids are just very adamant, coach, I want to go pro, I want to go pro. For me to be comfortable, you have to check this, we got to do this, and then we just hit that list and we go down the list. And then when I feel comfortable, I'm good, man. When I'm in the corner, I like to be relaxed. I like to understand, like, if I say something, he gonna do it, or he might make the adjustment before he even come to the corner. That's how I know. I'll see something and I'm like, and he fixes it before he get there. Cool, we on a good path, So it really depends. I don't push them here or there. I give the options. I let them know what's better than the other. This, and this, and depends on what they want to do, their age, the time, sometimes the family condition, because it's expensive for an amateur boxing, man. It's expensive every year, man.
Remember, it used to be cheap.
It's time.
It used to be cheap.
It's time consuming, and so it just depends. I leave it open, I'll let get the paintbrush and we paint it,
Okay, yeah, I like that analogy, the paintbrush. I like.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's great, and it seems like the boxers that are in your care per se, Bomber Squad out there. Are really benefiting from that. Just your approach, Coach Berlin, to the sport. and Coach P, as far as you're trying to work on yourself to be better for them. Like it seems like the atmosphere and everything, and just to be able to the grow in a sport that demands so much growth, but also demands a process to it. It doesn't happen overnight, and it seems like you guys really do approach it like that. And it seems like your boxers are really going to be the beneficiaries of this. And from the young amateurs to the pros, right? It really, I get that sense from it. Tell me a little bit about the gym. Is it very, very kind of, team oriented, very family oriented? Everybody kind of is in everybody's corner. I think you mentioned a different coach. Tell us who else is involved. How many active amateurs do you guys have? Just tell us a little bit about the gym out there.
Yeah, here we don't have any egos, man. Honestly, everything is open. And I like the process. I like to let stuff cook. I like to be confident in myself, also in my athletes and my coaches. So, I'm prior service, so it's OJT, on the job training. On the job training, I let you go out there, skin your knee, tell you what you did right, tell you what you did wrong. I'm a fly on the wall. And I just try to keep that same energy where it's okay to fail forward, and we got people that got your back and just strategically show you what's right. Kind of the same way, Payton is, I'm the same way. He's open to suggestions. We just keep a very cool baseline to where everybody's respected. Everybody's here for the good for the other person, honestly, and I just keep that. That's the nucleus. We got Coach Tez, which is my cousin. I brought him on. That's organic. He's our conditioning coach. He amazing, Coach Jose, he runs my amateur team now because I really just work with the elite and the pros. But and Coach Robert, he's my other coach that he works with my elite and my pros and some of the amateurs. So we kind of like let them go, and we see and we fish them out, and we start working with them. We put them back with the group. So I try to just keep it even to where majority of the fighters or athletes that are trying to become amateur boxers have a skill set, and then we try to multiply it. And then when you multiply it, that's when you grow. Everybody's keeping everybody accountable. And then we just sit back and watch and let it cook, and then we pull them out. And that's how we do. We just rotate. And, we give equal amount of attention, and we just try to strategically understand, okay, it's time to pull this person and separate them because they're giving us this much. Like I'm putting in 5, you give me back 10. Like, okay, we gotta put 10 into you. You're gonna give me back 20. And we just do it like that. And then we rotate. I like different styles, different look. I teach a jab a certain way. He teaches a jab a certain way. Which one is better? Depends on who's in front of you. And we just keep it like that. I just try to explain what this means, and we break it down in a scientific way, and then we just sit back and watch, and we redo it. That's the process, and everybody's open, everybody's with each other, in the squad we trust. Everybody trusts everybody here, and I want to keep it that way.
100%. And I think that culture is cultivated just due to the way Coach Berlin put it is each coach here is not just, I like this style, let's just stick with this, like each coach has like a preferred way, but we're all moldable. We're all willing to accept that each athlete has a different, characteristic to their style, and we'll adjust accordingly, and then we'll adapt based off of what other coaches are doing, right? So we're still here. It's at Bomber Squad. It's squad for life, so
There you go.
All right, Hayden, this is a theoretical question for you, right? But I also feel like you've been staring through my soul the entire time. You had Jesus, kid, come on. But theoretical question: Hayden versus any boxing legend in history, who would you put yourself across the ring from to test your skills?
That's a good one. I'd probably say Sugar Ray Leonard.
Oh, that man! All right, you fast? You that fast?
hey, he's willing to test himself. So that's probably it is, man.
willing to
There you
adjust.
go. Real quick, 3 Rounds Live, number 176. We're out in Bomber Squad Gym out in San Diego. You guys definitely heard the name. We're talking to amateur boxer here, Hayden. Oh, help me with the last name. How do you say it?
Hoopii.
Hoopii. Okay, there
Yeah.
you go. There you go. So we definitely have butchered that name, so I apologize, but we'll get it right. We'll get it right. And currently number 1 at intermediate 95. About just getting ready to go to the junior division. Like I always tell everybody, it's like it's nice to get those belts and those things, you know, the younger divisions, but you know, junior, youth, elite, that's when it counts. You know what I mean? That's when you start getting you know, invitations to the OTC. You know, Team USA spots are in the line come December. You know, that's why December is the biggest tournament of the year, and it's going to be exciting to see you kind of really shine and really establish yourself in the next couple of years. But you know, this is amateur boxing, right? You're not going to win them all. It's just how it is. You know, it's just the way that the sport is set up. But you know, it's still tough. You know, you put in 4-6 weeks of camp to make sure that you're ready for the tournament, right? You go out there, you kind of go through the tournament, but then you know you end up having a setback for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So what I want to know is, you know, how are you taking those setbacks? You know, how's that ride home? How's those conversations with coach, with dad? You know, when he takes off the hat and his dad, like, how are those conversations on some of those setbacks, and you know, to make sure that you're ready for the next one, because there's amateur boxing, there's a tournament 3 months down the road.
Yeah, I think even after a win or loss, we always break down. My coaches, Coach Berlin, my dad, Coach Robert, we always break down what we thought was good, what I thought I could work on, some key points, key pointers, something to keep working on, something that looked good. And after a loss, you know, it really sucks, but you just got to keep your head up, especially like taking a big loss, like at a big national tournament, like the biggest national tournament in December, really sucks, but you just got to keep your head up and keep going.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned prior to fighting Dylan, you saw, I guess you had a game plan going in because you saw film, you had study. Besides that, there's a ton of film on him out there. But how important is film in your preparation just for tournaments in general? And is it you watching by yourself, or are you watching as a team and breaking it down in more of a formal fashion?
We take film very seriously. Like with my dad, we'll just repeat videos over and over, up to like hours of just watching film, and we'll just study these fighters, look at flaws, look at bad habits, look at how to break them down, all that.
Okay, and when I guess watching a film, how do you put more stock into what they're, I guess, good at, or more on what they're lacking?
I think more on what they're good at, and I definitely do look at like what they're lacking, but I think it's more important to look at what they're good at, just to know like what to look out for, what kind of skills they have, their skill set, and how to break that down.
Okay.
There you go. You know, especially in amateur boxing, you know, like you said, you got a tournament coming up the next couple of months. You know, you got some show bouts in between. Like there's always activity. There's always an ability if you didn't get a win, to be able to pick yourself up the next one and just get that, you know, and leave it in the backside and get another win and just kind of feel good and kind of build on that. Right. So it's easy to really kind of get sucked into the sport of just competing and training and doing all that stuff. But, you know, you got one of those benefits that maybe not every amateur boxer has, which, you know, at the end of the bout, you turn around, you know, your dad's right there. Right. You're sharing these moments with him. So just walk us through that. How is it just having your dad there after a big win, or maybe one that you know, maybe you guys didn't something that you guys have to work on. Like, how is it just sharing these moments with them? Because, yes, long picture, you want to get that green belt and do all that. But, you kind of have to cherish some of these moments too, because those are the things that you're going to remember when you're older.
Yeah, I think I rather have my dad in my corner than anybody else. If that was one person I could have, I'd have my dad. I think the memories we share with this very important. Like after my win with up at the Junior Olympics in Lubbock, I remember going up, running to my dad and saying, "I love you," and we said it to each other. We share that bond. So I really like having him in my corner. It's a certain motivation that I have, especially him being my dad, him seeing how I grow. He's the number one person that sees all the work I put in.
That's for
All
sure.
right. All right, Coach Berlin, like you have to wear. I tell you, I wouldn't want your schedule because you got a lot of boxes.
Bruh.
I really wouldn't want this. I don't envy you there, but like, how do you? I don't know, because you're here, you're there, you're at this show, you're at this tournament with this guy, you're back in the gym. Like, how do you, I guess, manage? Basically, that's
Man, oh no, I just go with the flow, I guess. Sometimes it get tough, but at the end of the day, you got to think about what else you're gonna do. What else would I be doing?
Yeah.
I to be a part of these kids' lives, and they force me to grow. They force me to be in situations where I get to sit back and like, man, we always look down the line, like, remember this. I got a ton of video. It's just like having other kids, man. Honestly, there's nothing else to do. When you're good at something, you're good at something. You just got to get comfortable and you just got to get better at it. And like I said, when it gets rough, I always think, what else I'm gonna do? Office job or something? Nah, I can't do that.
I do see you on the internet. You be ripping and running. You cameras here, shows here, training there. Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
Hey, Coach B is really good with keeping it cool. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes we go to these tournaments, you got the squad, and like, you know how when you got the team and everyone's on different bouts, and sometimes those bouts are like really close to each other or stacked. And I think he's got a good team around him to help out. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Facts.
But he's the head honcho of Bomber, man. He makes it happen.
Very organized. Very, very, very organized, man. Logistics, like we talked about earlier after the fights, always a debrief. We have a debrief. All right, what do we do wrong? What we can do good? And specifically, we don't just leave it there. That is put into the schedule to train. Specifics, taper week, hell week. Signal, all right, this person, this bout in order. Red corner here, there, and like he said, honestly, it works because everybody is in a good position and they do their job, man. Everybody do it. My team is dope,
We all collectively
100%. Yeah, we have our own little strengths and we respect each other. We let that person stay in that strength and they sit in it and they do their job, So
that's cool right there. But I've blown my top. I remember JO's 2018. I had 10 boxers. I think I had one in each ring out of the 4, and I was sweating, but I wasn't fighting.
He was sweating, but he wasn't fighting, man. This guy's bad. Yeah, no, you know what? Just the San Diego area is very lucky to have a gym approach like that. I've been a lot, and I'm not going to say anything, but I think when the coach is so concerned about being better, is only going to make the whole process so much better. And having different personalities, right? It is really kind of this mixture of personalities and everything that really make it work, because every boxer doesn't respond the same. I mean, so and maybe coach, X, Y, and Z over here is a little easier with this or that, and maybe some boxers kind of gravitate to that style or this style, and just having that type of variety and options for the boxers seems to be a winning combination. You know what I mean?
The important part is to identify it, let it be known, and letting everybody know that that's okay. Because sometimes some boxers, they gravitate towards a coach and they feel like, oh, am I wrong for gravitating towards a coach, or that's the head coach? And now you just gotta let them know, like, listen, work with coach, listen to coach, and then you just polish them up here and there, and you just rotate it. Let them know it's okay to do that.
Awesome. And it seems like you guys have really set a foundation for these conversations to be had, right? I've seen some gyms where the coach, it's what the coach says, and that's what it is. It's my system, and everybody's just helping to make sure everybody fits in that system. It seems like it's a little bit more adaptable to what happens. So, but when it's competition, right? You guys say it's Saturday, right? You guys have some boxers competing in championships. As the coaches, I mean, what kind of coach are you guys when you guys are in between rounds? Are you guys, I mean, in between rounds, are you guys like shadow boxing in front of your boxer? like, are you guys calm and collected? Like, what do you guys? Because you, at the end of the day, you guys got to translate what you guys saw. What is the strategy to your boxers? But you got, it's an emotional sport. How are you guys in the corner, and how you guys make sure that you guys get that message across?
Yeah, it's usually we stick to one voice. One person going to be vocal. The other two coaches are calling out what they see as they go. So it'll filter through me. Something's happening. He's like, hey, left hand down, jab. I'll wait till there's a key point to where I'm not disrupting anything. And I'm like, jab. All right, hand up. And then he'll implement it. And that's how we rotate it. When we get in the ring, the main coach that's in the ring, he's allowed that first 45 seconds. And once I get my point across, I'll look and then let them finish up. And then that's how we do it.
And open scoring, right? Came to be not too long ago. How are you guys utilizing that? Because it seems like a good tool to kind of really gauge what are the refs, the judges seeing. Because sometimes you kind of leave, you like, what are you guys looking at? But now you guys have a little bit of a glimpse into what is happening. Are you guys using that to your advantage to strategize the that minute that you guys have in between rounds?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. There's always somebody key down, looking up, telling us a score, and then we can figure out how to adjust at that point. Sometimes, honestly, we like, wait, well, we didn't win. How did we not win that round? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a toss up. Are we going to just do what he did, or are we going to try to polish what we did? But I mean, at the end of the day, if you land and you don't get landed on, that you winning. So you got to strategically figure out: are you too close? They can't see what's going on. Are you in and out? And then like Hayden to give his little 2 cents, like, nah, we should do this. We should switch this up. So then we'll go for that game plan, and then we'll see the score, and we're like, okay, that's what we got to do.
Yeah. And even if it's like a 5-0-1 round, it's like he's always going back in there for something with something else. Maybe it's, hey, do what you did plus a little bit more aggression. Take a more aggressive right step when you're cutting off that ring so you can get ahead of them and actually capitalize, stuff like that. But yeah, I love seeing the scores because it allows for transparency and some like real time feedback to the athlete. Because before that came up, you could be saying a whole different narrative, and his energy and everything he's putting into that round is based off of the narrative you feeding him, and then it's different, and then it's like but like the narrative could be right, so we don't want to go down that road, right? But I like seeing it and being transparent with the athlete because we can actually make true adjustments and know where we're at in the fight, and he knows actually where he's at in the fight, he or she. So.
All right, Hayden, this one is, I guess the one I have problem with training kids all the time is food, right? Like, I train kids that never had the best fuel eating wise because we don't see what you eat at school, and there's vending machines and the candy lady, the snack lady. Like, you seem like a pretty disciplined kid. Like, are you sticking to the nutrition plan when Coach P's not around, or you, hey man, you got a backpack full of snacks? What you doing, man?
I think in camp, like I keep my nutrition very strict just because I know my body needs, the complex carbohydrates, proper hydration, proper nutrition, the protein. all that, everything I need to perform good in training, feel good the next day, to wake up, go run, and just to feel good all throughout camp, and to make sure my weight is good.
Yeah, my son tries to find protein on the nutrition facts on candy, just so we. He's a pretty good negotiator too. He almost tricked me one time. But, yeah, I'm glad you can stick to that, and you know what you need to fuel your system. Hydration being the most important, and by hydration I don't mean Gatorade, which is mostly sugar. Like, yeah. My son is not that kid.
Not many people know this, but Hayden, he's like the cook in our family. So he.
Oh, really? Oh,
he's a real chef. Yeah. So aside from boxing, that's like one of his other talents. You know, he gravitates towards that, but he'll cook his own food, and he just. Man, he gets on that Gordon Ramsay stuff.
For years. He'll win the tournament. He'll run and grab his food, and I see him watching cooking. I'm like, wait, what you? Like, yeah, coach, I'm a chef, and one day I made him cook food for everybody. Yeah, and it was fire.
Hey, Chris Algieri put that cookbook out. You might have one in the mix there, Hayden.
Yeah, that boy can cook for real.
Man. Hey, how'd you get into that? Like what? Just wanted to turn the stove on one day and see what happened?
I would always be in the kitchen with my mom. My mom would always ask for help because I'd always be looking for snacks in the fridge and stuff. And I would just help my mom with cooking, and I just gravitated to it and wanted to do it more.
Be a foodie.
Yeah.
100%.
That's cool, man.
That's
super cool.
Yeah, every mom will love a kid like that. I'm telling you that right now, man. Like, you get in there and help out and actually cook it up. Hey, whoo, man, I'm booking my flight to San Diego because I need to get some food made over there. So, hey, great conversation. We almost ran out of time over here, so we'll start kind of gathering our final questions here. But Hayden, you now you're going into the junior division, right? You're excited about doing that, but the skill level's got to be a little sharper. Every division you got to get a little bit. You got more time and doing all that stuff. So, what do you think you're going to have to start working on? How are you going to separate yourself from your competition? Because sometimes it only takes a couple of exchanges to really go, determine who won that round. So, what are the things that you see from all this studying and just talking to your dad, coach? What are those things that you think you really have to kind of fine tune to make sure that you're separating yourself from your competition come tournament time?
I think necessary adjustments, like the small tedious head movement, nice jab, make them respect the power. I think something that is real good is having a good influence around me, like Julius Ballo, Johnny Mansour, Richard Fernandez, all them super high class boxers, international gold medalists, and it's just like a big inspiration. I look up to them.
Okay, so this is for all of y'all. This is my magic wand question. You got a magic wand, and you can fix something about this sport just to make it better, whether it's pros, amateurs, for the fans, for the business of boxing. You got a magic wand. You get one thing to fix. Abracadabra, have at it.
I'll take one. All right. The selected athlete that goes on the high performance team gets to have the choice of bringing their coach who's brought them to that level to the camps and to the competitions with oversight of the head coach over there. So there is still USA Boxing there, but I believe that the coach that brought the athlete to that level or, help guide him should be there on the biggest stages. So,
and you get to witness what they're doing. Because the decisions are made behind closed doors, and I hate it.
Yeah.
No transparency.
So that's my thing.
That's a fair point for sure. Because there's this kind of, I won't say double standard, but when the boxer wins, we know that the boxer wins, but we know that there's a team behind it. You got to reward the who's the one that built them up from scratch. You know what I mean? So.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, Coach Berlin, what will you change?
I would say like some type of assembly line, meaning there's boxing programs in elementary, and it segued to boxing being on regular television. That would give inspirations to kids to look up to athletes. Everybody now want to be a basketball player, baseball player, a rapper. I wish that there was an assembly line for boxers, and I feel like that would flood the sport with our giants, our athletes, and we would reign supreme when it comes to boxing because our best athletes will be gravitating towards boxing because of what they see, the availability of it. That's what I would change.
Hayden, what will you change in this
I
sport?
think, especially with this year, with the how they picked the Olympic team, the Pan American Games, they had the team, and they had the Olympic trials. The Olympic trials was just like really an illusion for people to think, oh, we have this chance to qualify for the Olympics, but really it's not. We've already picked our guys, but they don't really disclose that anywhere. USA Boxing doesn't reach out and say anything about that.
Oh wow!
You know,
I actually thought Hayden was going to say something. I wish they had softer faces because they're hurting. Because he's like literally, I don't know the way the camera's hidden, but it's like he's staring a hole to me.
as well. The go to his point real quick. It's funny because we had Hayden Herrera in our last interview who was really kind of rubbed the wrong way the whole Olympic trial kind of procedure, right? And the thing is that you're hearing this from boxers. So intermediate, they're just really starting their journey in this amateur game, and they're already being kind of rubbed the wrong way and saying, you know what, this is not the way that it should work. You know what I mean? And Bomber Squad in particular, because you guys have a specific situation with, talking about Julius Ballo and how everything turned out with that. I definitely make my voice heard when I see that there's some issues going on. We talked about lack of transparency and all this stuff. It just really shows you that USA Boxing is not the end game, just to be real about it. But knowing that is something you have to deal with if you want to be in the amateur level. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. But it's unnecessarily giving amateur boxing a bad look when we spend an hour now talking about all the positives that happen in the sport, that really have what is the organization that really can catapult you to the international scene, be run like that. It really makes a disservice for Hayden. Will probably end up putting 15 plus years or whatever by the time that maybe he's eligible to go to the Olympics, and then things being solved before the tournament even happens. It's unreal.
It really is a bad look for boxing. I think one of the lucrative things about boxing is anybody can make it. Anybody can lace up some gloves and knock out the right person, and you that guy, and it compared to the statistics of who's going to make it to the NBA because what somebody thinks about you or scouting, or they don't feel like, they don't want to pick you up. It takes away that pureness of boxing where anybody can make it. I didn't know there were gatekeepers. I thought let the best man win and respect the judges. And unfortunately that's not it. And it's not a good look at all.
No. And it's, we're always about the boxer because it impacts them more directly than anybody else. But it's shameful to put in other words. But, that's when you guys come in and try to explain all this stuff to the boxer who's like, wait, I won the tournament. How come I'm not advancing? And that's why you have some teams going pro a little sooner than they maybe should. Because and when you go to the pros, that's a whole different world. So, Coach P, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's crucial. As soon as the athlete decides, hey, I want to take this as far as I can in the amateurs, I think it's crucial to have that discussion, like the amateur career path, right? Like really, hey, maybe get into some of their bylaws and instructions and how to make the high performance team. Like this is what it looks like. This is your year group. This is where it makes sense for, you to actually, compete for this tournament, really map that stuff out. Because if you just kind of go along with it without understanding the regulations and how they run stuff deeply within USA Boxing, then it can be very disappointing for the athlete and discouraging, especially at big tournaments where it's like, oh, I won and I thought I needed to be here and I thought I solidified my spot for, yeah.
Yeah. They ended up having a finals at the National Silver Gloves. That's all you got to say. It's
Right.
crazy. So, Coach Harry, any final questions you got there?
No, I was just kind of thinking about what Coach Berlin said about the assembly line. So I coach collegiate boxing at the Air Force Academy, but I know how it could work. But it's going to take a while. But there's 2 college organizations, but I think more colleges need to get involved, and they need to consolidate into one organization to rival like the NCAA. They have been out of boxing since the 60s, but the NCBA is your major organization. USIBA is your smaller organization. But if we get more and more schools to get into boxing, even at the club level in boxing, then the high schools would follow. Because Cincinnati does have Cincinnati high school boxing that they kind of feed and break the rules.
Really?
But whatever. Yeah. And then below that, I think the middle school. I don't know if it'll be an elementary school, but I think if you get a large amount of schools on the collegiate level involved, because you have 2 organizations, both with about 60 some odd schools each, so about 120 colleges that do box. The NCBA is the much bigger organization, though. Cincinnati's part, University of Cincinnati. The Bearcats are part of the NCBA. They have a program run by their college coach called Cincinnati High School Boxing, and they just kind of push their kids up that way. I think, so San Diego State might need a club, man.
Hey, that's what it is. So, hey, real
link up and talk a little bit about that. I was not tracking any of that stuff. Yeah, all I know is USA Boxing Amateur Program.
No, there. Coach Terry, he's part of the coaching staff for the Air Force boxing team. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. You see the Army WCAT program. So there's a lot of avenues that don't involve necessarily the typical USA boxing route. So, things to consider, that there is options out there. So, Hayden, just real quick, when I posted that I was going to have you on, I saw people, sharing, make sure to tune in. Like, how does it feel just having that support already as an intermediate going into the junior? People want to see you win. How does it feel just having that community support?
It feels amazing, and I think like most of those people are my family. There are other outside people that I know in the boxing community, made friends with in the boxing community, and I think it really helps, especially like with motivation, because I know people that are multi-time national champions, and they're from California. Like you were talking about Adrian Herrera, I'm friends with him, his brother Andrew and Aiden, and they're all good, and I think it's a great motivation for me. I think it really pushes me to step up to that level that they are.
There you go. Go ahead and give those shout outs, thank yous to everybody that has helped you get to where you're at so far.
I want to give a shout out first to my dad, Coach Berlin, Coach Tez, Coach Robert, Bomber Squad, Coach Blood, everybody that supports me, everybody in the boxing community, USA Boxing, and all my family, my mom, my brother. That's it.
Hey, Coach P. Berlin, good. Shout outs, any final words, thoughts, anything you want to say? You guys got the mic.
All right, shout out to the Bomber Squad family. Everybody know what's up. Take it one day at a time. Stay looking forward. Fall forward. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Pursue your dreams. Take one step and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna second what Hayden was saying. Thank you to all his friends, families, and supporters. And big time shout out to Bomber Squad team. Bomber Squad's coming. We coming with the heat. See you there at the top.
Yes, sir.
Hey, there we go. Hayden, how can people follow your journey? Throw out some social usernames or where you're at.
You can follow my boxing account on Instagram, Hayden Hoopii, and my TikTok account, Hayden Demo Kid.
You better not be on TikTok dancing.
Nah, I only coach boxing on there.
Hey, footwork only, coach. Footwork only.
Real quick before I let you go, I think it's is it Demolition Man or Demolition? Is that your nickname?
Demolition Kid.
Okay, how do you get that? How do you get that nickname?
At first, it was my dad. When we were out in the qualifier, he made a highlight video, and I think it really sunk with me because my pressure all coming up through the amateurs was really just going forward, pressure, bringing it to them, and being a demolition man. I just thought Demolition Kid sang better with that, so I just changed it to Demolition Kid.
He's just holding up all of this heat, and then he just explodes, you know?
Man, there we go. There we go. It's going to be exciting following your journey in the amateurs and beyond. One of the things that I always love to see is kids being coachable, being receptive to what their coaches are saying. And it seems like you have that 100%. And I think that, your willingness to learn, go through the process, do the whole, everything to get to where you're going, that just stone cold face demeanor that you got. It seems like you're there's a lot of awesome things to be excited about and look forward to. Coach Berlin, you're doing an awesome job out there. Coach P, shout outs to you as well, because we know this is a very demanding, just being a coach. Sometimes it kind of goes thankless. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Because especially when kids don't want to be running no miles in the morning, and maybe they're not happy all the time when they see you because they know you're gonna make them work. You know what I mean? But that you're making that impact to the youth and every kid that comes through those doors, and it is appreciated. What you're doing for your community out there. Not only in the ring, getting them belts and getting those accolades, but all that stuff that sticks with them beyond boxing, and that's something that hats off to you guys for sure. 100%. So,
hey, I want to return to thanks to you, man. This podcast you're doing for the amateur community is definitely needed, and I think it's awesome that you're doing this, especially with the youth, man. Giving them the exposure and really, like, hey, if you're watching this, you're getting some gold tips, little gold nuggets from everybody, and you're allowing that to be exposed and let people know, like, this is what's going on. These are the thoughts of going on in high level athletes, so and a lot of people can relate to that. You don't know it unless you experience it, but if you hear it from somebody that you like or follow, that's awesome too, and that's also encouraging. So yeah, thanks, man. This has been awesome, and thanks for hitting up Hayden as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, and I appreciate you jumping on, because that's half the battle. Hey, sometimes kids don't want to jump on; they're a little nervous. It was like, hey, you got to get used to this, because later on, the lights are going to be brighter, the cameras are going to be bigger. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them things. But it always starts with 3 rounds, and this is where we're at. 3 rounds live. So the solely dedicated to amateur boxing. Coach Terry doing his thing out there with the Air Force. Coach P, Berlin, Hayden, I appreciate all the time. I see your workout in the back, so I think after this, you still got to put in some work. So it is what it is. Are we going to see you in Albuquerque?
No, I think next time you'll see me is up at Junior Olympics in Wichita.
There we go. All right. Well, that's all we got. We got the tournament coming up, so we're going to be doing some breakdowns of that. A lot of things happening. We got Team USA out in Italy trying to secure some spots, so we'll see how that all pans out. Olympics coming up in July. We got all these things happening. So that's all we got. Coach Terry, you got anything else?
No, but I'm still thinking about what Coach Berlin said and what I was talking about earlier. I got to run back to the NCBA and give them my idea now. So
hey, I'm liking this. You're right in there, Coach Berlin. I appreciate you bringing that up, because now we got Coach Terry focus, and it's always a good thing. You know what I mean? So hey, that's all I got. I'm gonna go eat some food. Hayden been making me hungry every time you told me that you were cooking shit. Like, I'm not gonna be able to watch Chop without thinking about you chopping some stuff up there. So that's all we got. I appreciate everybody tuning in to the very end. If you didn't see the whole interview, it's going to be posted on shortly, so go ahead and watch it from the beginning, because like Coach P said, we dropping some gems here, and there's a lot of good things happening here. And not only just getting to see what's the next generation looking like, but see what these coaches are saying because they're the one holding it down. So appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
Me too.
There we
All
go.
right.
We'll do that. Take it easy.
All right, gentlemen, you have a good one.
All right, take care, guys.